Let's have a little look. Let's have a little bit of a looky wooky. What's that there? There we go. Right. We are here, guys. We are here. Woof. We've had a hell of a day. We have had a hell of a day, but we are here. We are here. We are here. Let's put that on. Oh, turn that one off. There we go. Hello, everybody. I was trying to do a live on TikTok, but for some weird reason they've put some setting on, which means no one can speak to me without spending £9.99, and I do not know how to get it off. So there we go. So I thought I would just do my live here on YouTube on my mobile, which I never normally do. So first of all, guys, thank you so much for making the justice journals go viral. Thank you so much. And I have an amazing gift for you, which is version 2.0 of Justice Writer Pro, which is going to be finished by the end of this month, which means anybody that is having to do anything serious legally, discrimination, organizations, bullying, harassment, foul play, fault in process. I'm just updating I wrote the software Justice Writer Pro in case nobody knew, and I'm just about to drop the second version. We're just debugging it for certain, so normal, when you create software, we have like a debugging time. And that is going out to people who are already members. So people who are already members over on our website will be getting that already. You can organize all of your, yeah, Alison, PIP tribunal, everything. Trust me, this is going to make your life so much easier. So I have been doing this as a digitalized format throughout the whole time that I was suing the Department of Work and Pensions, for want of a better word. But now I have, over the years, over about 2 years, I've been doing two things. So one, I've been training AI. One part of it is AI to write the letters for people, dropping in all of the sections for discrimination and the different legalities, right? This is not a legal app, though, I will point out. It's just a resource that I've created. But the evidencing system is second to none, because one of the biggest foul play things that the Department of Work and Pensions do is they bank on you as the layperson, the victim. They bank on you not knowing all the law. They also bank on you getting all flustered about not presenting your evidence in a way that a court will accept. And people get really het up about this because judges get really shitty about this. There's no other word to say. If it's not presented in a certain way, judges can reject it, and the other side can have your claim thrown out. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, and it's also one of the easiest as well. I mean, DWP defaulted on so many of the case management orders, and I think I requested about 4 times for the claim to be struck out by the courts, and they would never do it. But if it was the other way around, they would do it. So Alison, yes, it is. There is already a version that you can use that is inside Justice Journal's the website. But this is like next level. This is next level, like SaaS level. You can have it on your phone, your iPad, everywhere. It's really, really good. You can upload all your evidence. Everything is hyper. I'm not going to say anything until I drop it, but trust me, it's going to help you, especially if you're self-representing. If you're doing it by yourself and you don't have a lawyer or you don't have a barrister, I mean, even better if you do, right? But even if you don't, then this is going to help. Hello, P. Sorry, guys. I have been coding all day, so I look horrendous. Hi, I done migration from ESA to UC on Diogenes. I said I got mental health. So can I call UC to put my mental diagnosis by name? Oh, right, I get it. Okay, sure. Um, I done my migration from ESA to UC on diagnosis. I said I got mental health. Yeah, yeah. Just make sure when you do your migration, you go into your claim and you do change your circumstances, health, and they'll say, what is it? And you say, I have got other things to add, or my health has got better, or my health has got worse. And you need to make sure all those things are listed. And it will show you, it will say, you've already have this, this, and this. Are these conditions still valid? Have they got better? Have they got worse? Is there anything else you need to add to it? And you need to go, yes. And one of the reasons why it's so important is when a decision maker or a case manager looks at your claim. So this isn't the work coach and the team leaders. I know they like to let everyone in the job centre think they make the decisions. Half the time they don't, right? It goes to a decision maker. Decision makers have different qualifications, different training, all around different government policies. They're the ones that look at your claim and they can see all of your claim, whereas work coaches can only see certain parts of your claim. Team leaders can also only see certain parts of your claim, but a case manager or a decision maker will see all of your claim, and they will be able to see inside that part of health. And health can be a biggie for mitigating circumstances. So by that, I mean, if you've migrated and you think, oh, you haven't done it like to the best of your ability, or you've been worried about something like, oh, I forgot to put this, or I forgot to put that. And they said, oh, you haven't done this, you're out of time. You can obviously use your health. You can say, I mean, use it, fairly. You can say, I didn't know, I was having a not a great day, I forgot, or whatever it is. And it is listed on my claim that I have these conditions. Because lots of people, especially mental health, is unpredictable in the sense that it can be like this on one day and like that on another day. No 2 days are necessarily the same. That's why it varies. So that again is a mitigating circumstance, right? So, especially if you're on meds as well. So, yes, Alison. So, yeah, guys, God, I don't know what to say, guys. My last video, I've had like nearly 2,000 followers on YouTube. I've kind of, in my world, I've gone, oh my God, I've gone viral on YouTube. It's on my son's birthday, like on the morning of his birthday, I had like 9,400 followers. Now we're over 11,000. I was like, oh my days. So yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I have got loads of comments to respond to, loads, but I also have 2 websites to roll out this week for clients. So once I've done that, and once I've just signed off certain things for Justice Writer Pro, I am going to get down to doing all of the videos. There are lots of the comment. I have over 700 comments, guys. Thank you. Lots of the comments I have been going through and responding to, but some of them are very good questions. Like, I think, yes, I need to do a video on this. So this weekend, so Friday, I always do a video, and Sunday, I like to do a video as well. It's just a time when it's the quietest in my house. So there we go. Has anyone got any questions, guys, whilst I'm here? The TikTok filters are really great, aren't they? I've just noticed how terrible I look on YouTube. Without the filters, we've all got used to them, right? We've all got used to the filters. Anyway, I've had fun and games with the Department of Work and Pensions legal department as of late as well, I might add. Really trying hard to make sure that my appeal doesn't go through in the appeals court for their fault in process. I have to say something, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I really want as many people as possible to go and watch this video. Let me put it up here. Not this one. I'm very grateful, guys, that you've all gone and watched that, but this one. If you're worried about this, about DWP and other organisations accessing all of your data, that's just the start of it. You want to see what happens when they do something with that data. And that's why I want you to watch this video. This is actually evidence from my own claim. Okay, so this isn't like hypotheses, this isn't a policy. This is literally emails from the Department of Work and Pensions when I used to work there, saying one thing, doing another, not following their policy, not following what Rachel Reeve says and what everyone says. And I want you to go and watch it so you realize what you're up against, because there is no other department, in my humble opinion, more dishonest than the dishonest Department of Work and Pensions. And I will say that for as long as I have breath in my body. Their legal team is absolutely atrocious. I feel they flout every legality in the justice system that there is. And quite frankly, I think it's disgusting. So yeah. Peace. When they asked me, I said I got a mental health, but I want to tell what exactly my diagnosis is. So can I call and I do it? Yeah, you can. You can just phone them up and you can say, just say to them, I'm not very good like with noting stuff down or writing. I am recording this call. I would like you to formally note that I have the following mental health conditions, please, and I want it updated on my claim. So sometimes when I used to work at the job centre, not everyone is great with tech. Some people like get a bit freaked out by their journal, and some people can't write. As long as you give permission, that then someone can put it on your claim. So ideally, it is good that I mean, if you can't go to the job centre, you can't. But I have been in the position where I've like turned my screen around and said, right, I'm going to update your claim for you as if I'm you. You type it up, they can see it. And then obviously you say, are you okay with that? Because they can see it and you read it out to them and they say yes. And then a work coach should put a note going, have read this out to the claimant. They've asked me to do it. They are happy with this. And then you send that claimant a journal message as well, so that they've got a track record of it. Thank you for all these little crowns and these ones and the twos. I'm not quite sure what they mean, but thank you. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, definitely. Alison, exactly. Yeah, just call them up and tell them. And also if you need any reasonable adjustments, so you might say to them, please don't book me appointments in the morning because I'm on meds. And like quite often people who take meds, particularly for mental health, they take them at night so they can sleep quite often. I'm not saying it's the case for you, but you might be a bit gloopy in the morning, so you don't want early morning appointments. You might want an appointment after 12, or you might want an appointment when the job centre is quiet. I used to do that for my claimants as well, particularly people that suffer with social anxiety. You can also ask to have, if they're insisting you go to the job centre, you can say, actually, I suffer with social anxiety. If they're going, no, you have to come down, then you need to say, okay, I need to come every other week then, please. And you can ask to be seen in a what we call a safe room, but that can be a private room, with a screen on all the rest of it. Hi, filthy muggy gutters. I don't know how you fight them. It's like going to bed with trying psychopaths, I'm telling you. I'm writing a book on this. First of all, I'm dealing with the software. So I've developed software. I wrote Justice Writer Pro, which is software, evidence software, to show you how to evidence yourself, how to evidence your case, whatever it is, whether it is the council, whether it's DWP, maybe even the police, right? Whoever. And show you how you put it together. This is not legal information. It's not legal advice. It is a resource. I have to keep saying that, but it does really help, because if you have everything really well organized and you know where you are, you're on a bit of a win. Because the most dirtiest and filthiest little trick, there are two that DWP play in particular. The first one is making it up as they go along. We all know that. Putting up like Microsoft in Office Word in their own evidence and then calling it evidence. That's the first one. And the second one is when people say they have a mental health condition and they need extra time because they need to read all of this, especially if you're representing yourself. You're not a lawyer, you're not a barrister, so you're not expected by the justice system to behave like you are or function like you are. So by that very token, you do need to be given extra time to read that information, maybe get some advice somewhere, work out what it means, and then have the time to like mentally deal with it and then respond to it. If and DWP will in particular, they'll do it like the day before. All the witness statements they did 12 hours after they were meant to, and that was after I gave them mine. They're like under the rug crack dealer tactics, underhand, under the rug, you know, real backstreet stuff, and I think that's wrong, because when people are suffering with a health condition anyway, and they are representing themselves for themselves, it's taken advantage of somebody who is already vulnerable, literally. And I think that is why I wrote Justice Writer Pro. That's why I've created it. And I just want everyone to be able to use it and literally rinse the bastards, quite frankly, for anything they can, especially if they have been acting unlawfully. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it is about time all of these wonderful people that have had to survive in life and get through in life, grind in life, get by with their disabilities, can have some justice, like rise back up and like take back their power. And I know that sounds a bit like cringe stereotype, but honestly, when you see how they behave in court and when you see how their legal team behave in court, it's like it's like watching something on Netflix. You would not think that this is the Department of Work and Pensions, right? That this is not the department that tells all disabled people to go to work, that tells disabled people that they need to be doing better, that tells disabled people that there is support out there. It's like keep away from the fire and let me put a hot poker on you at the same time. They're like, filthy muggy gutters. They're not just psychopaths. I think they're schizophrenic, and that has no disrespect to anybody that is. It's like I actually think they're sociopathic, actually, because they don't seem to have any emotion, and I don't understand how you can work with vulnerable people and say that you want to help them and support them and make them independent, when in one lane you're doing that, but in the next lane, when it comes to that person maybe taking an action against you because you haven't followed your process, you like try and make them out to be the bad guy. Why didn't they just put their hands up and go, yeah, we're ever so sorry, we did that wrong, we're going to put it right now? That would be the responsible thing to do, and I think a lot of people would have a lot more respect for them if they did that. uh yeah, they are literally I actually somebody commented on one of the videos about something. They said something like, why would you if you've got nothing to hide, why would you worry? And I said, well, if you want to go out for a date with Voldemort, be my guest. It's like, is that caliber? That's the caliber of them. When you get on the wrong side of them, or when you call them out for something, that is the caliber of person they are. Alison, question: what happens when you have asked for a SAR and nothing happens? I've chased no response. Right, this is a very good question, because I actually have to report them to the ICO myself, so I can tell you this. So when you ask for a subject data access request by law, and I'm the data processing officer for my company, so by law they have 30 days to comply. So within 30 days they need to send you exactly what you've requested, and that is under GDPR and data protection. And that's why when you make that request, you always need to do it in a way that you can evidence when you ask for it. So proof of postage, registered post, whatever, or email timed and date stamped if you're doing it like that. If they don't respond, you need to report them to the Information Commissioner's Office in London. It's called the ICO because they're an organisation. Whether or not it will go anywhere is, I don't know. But what is more concerning is you probably want that information for something. Maybe it's a PIP claim, or maybe it's for a review, and you want that information because you want to see what information they have on you. Have they included everything in your file or your assessment that you've sent them? And if the result of them, and this is where it is good for keeping everything timed and date stamped again, Justice Writer Pro will help with this. If they haven't sent you everything, and let's just say you have a PIP assessment and they end your PIP because they say there's not enough evidence, and in actual fact, you can prove that you sent the evidence, but they got rid of it in some way or disregarded it, then you take them to court. And I mean, I hate saying the word, but you sue them. As you know, I think the more people that start suing organizations who aren't following their own processes, in particular the Equality Act of 2010, I think the better, brighter place UK will be. And that is, my part. I'm very good with systems. I did consider, do I want to go down the route of doing, another 2 years of studying and being a solicitor? I don't know. I think I might just bring people on who are already qualified and help you guys out with that. Maybe I'll do that because I have a lot of access to legal advisors through my company. So I might just do that instead, because it is this is what they bank on. I mean, an employment law solicitor is £650 an hour, easy, like easily. And that's with a letter and a consult. And normal everyday folk don't have £650 just for 1 hour. And when you're dealing with someone like the Department of Work and Pensions, they long it out. They make everything as long and as protracted as possible. It's a strategy because they are doing two things. One, they're protagonizing you with the weight. They hope you're going to snap. And the second thing is they know that you're not going to have the staying power because you don't have the legal intellect, or, in fact, this is the third point, you may also need that financial element. So they use it as a lever. So when they fired me, I said to them, this is technically the worst thing you could do for yourselves. And they were like, I said, no, it is. Because I actually only came here to work because my husband died and I was crawling the walls with grief and my kids in COVID. But I actually have online income from my businesses. So I actually don't need this job technically to survive, although every business had a bit of has taken a hit, right, with COVID. Let's be honest. But now I'm going to have an extra 40 hours a week to prepare my case against you. So really, it's the worst thing you could have done. I mean, again, 0 out of 10 for strategy. If I had been their legal team, I would have said, no, keep her at work. Don't fire her, because if she's at work, she's going to have less time to prepare papers against us. And time for papers you will need to prepare. So, so that's what you do with that one, Alison. I got my mental health diagnosis letter and all my issues on the letter. Can I call them and tell them what's on the letter? Yeah, absolutely. Peace, you can also request for a document upload. They don't like doing it too much with health things, and I would definitely recommend that you say, can I upload my letter for you to see, and then request that they delete that letter after they've viewed it, because you don't want your health records, any health stuff being held on in your universal credit claim. Problem is the ICO is funded by large organisations. Yeah, these large organisations pay a fee, tier 3, 2,900. It's like asking the bank robber to return what they stole. 100%. I will. You know what? I don't even know if reform are going to change it all. To be honest with you, when I've heard a few things about it all. I actually just think the UK is finished. I do. I just think it's finished in lots of ways. Unless you've got quite a lot of money, I think it's finished, is my opinion. You either have to kind of grin and bear it, right? Or you know, have to elope and go elsewhere. Filthy, muggy gutters. In my claim, the judge, I believe, was at fault because she did not report the Department of Work and Pensions for breaching GDPR on 300 innocent universal credit claimants whose names and national insurance numbers they published in my case. The judge, she raised anonymity order. I always say that word wrong, but an order to make it anonymous so that we can't refer to anybody that was listed in those papers by their names or their national insurance numbers. But really, I think she should have gone one step further as a judge and set a good example as to what the court will consider as being appropriate and not appropriate, and making sure that organisations like DWP are compliant. And by the fact that she didn't do that, I just think is an absolute fucking sham. I mean, there are so many faults with the case. And again, guys, if you haven't, I will just keep banging on about this because I do want people to go and see this. Please go and watch this video here. This is my second evidence drop. DWP exposed. So in here, in this video, and you need to watch, I know it's like, what is it 25 or 38 minutes long? But in order to, I know it's 38 minutes long, but I have to show you certain pieces of evidence in the first three parts so you understand the fourth part, because it just beggars belief. So when we're worried about them having our information, when you see that video there, that is the point to be concerned. I mean, obviously, I mean, I will not let them have any of my information. I'm terrible. I'm really terrible about it. In fact, I blew my doctor up about this today. You know, because you've got to be so careful with everything, how all of your medical records are recorded, when you go to the doctor's appointment, what's written down, what's this, what's that. If you go to A&E, you've just got, it's like a part-time job, isn't it? You have to be on it, because if the one teeny little thing that isn't written correctly, they're going to make a meal of. They're going to make a mountain out of a molehill. I'm on LCWA for anxiety and depression. Will reform take my money off me? Gary, who knows? I just don't know, my lovely. If you're on LCWRA, so if you're on LCWRA and no work-related activity, it's highly likely not. What irritates me about this, because I have a mental health condition, is that you have to keep, like, they always want to just see like new evidence, but for lots of things, especially mental health, there's like, what do you want me to do? Just go to the doctors every week? You know, like, you just keep taking the pills, doing this, doing that. For lots of illnesses, there's not really anything you can do, you know, other than just go to the doctors or phone them up and get pills. So I just think it's a complete waste of time in some respects, but you have to do it. You have to do it and make sure your evidence is relevant. You're more than welcome, Alison. You're more than welcome. You know, when they don't comply with GDPR and they don't send you back your documents from the subject data access request, there's always a reason why. So it's normally, what is the cause or what is the effect of them not doing that? We know what the cause is the effect. And that legally is where you can really go into them and, you know, technically, you know, threaten them. You know, you've like, it's your right as well. Let's not forget that it is your right to request this paperwork. It is your data that they are holding. It's not their data, it's your data that they're holding, which is why you're allowed to request it by law. So why are they withholding it? For what reason? And I know for lots of people who have got mental health things, just thinking of Gary there in your comment, lots of services are massively oversubscribed. Like where I live, we have Steps to Wellbeing, which is quite good online mental health, or you can go and talk to somebody, have therapy and things like that. If you've been a victim of something, the police will offer you victim support, but that is the majority of the time trainee counsellors. So it is quite difficult for lots of people to get actual treatment, right? It's like people that are waiting years and years and years to get an ADHD diagnosis. Like, why does that even take so long? I don't know. So it's all very well and good them saying, have you got any evidence? Have you got this? Have you got that? But you can only get evidence if the health professionals are technically free enough to give you an appointment or assess you, in a sense. So again, making sure you keep a journal, take lots of pictures, even record yourself on your phone, all sorts of things you can do. Um, to evidence your health condition. For PIP and some of these other things, you don't have to have a diagnosis. Like legally, the legal remit, you don't have to have a diagnosis. You just have to prove the adversity. Okay, that is, and so if you've got videos or pictures or journals or witness statements from people that know you, that interact with you on a regular basis, all of that constitutes as evidence. And if you put that before a court, they can't deny, they can't go, we're not going to take any notice of this because it hasn't come from a healthcare professional. They do have to take it into consideration, 100%. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go. I've had a very long day today. I've had my head in code most of the day, and doing stuff like that. So I just feel I need to go and do some other bits and bobs. I see a support worker 3 times a week, have a C9 and psychiatrist and on meds. Oh, Gary, okay. Well, that's good that you've got the support, Gary. 100%. That's brilliant that you've got the support. So that's already a good start. And that is definitely, you know, I think if you've got, you've got a support worker and all the other things you've said, I think when you're saying you were worrying about evidence, all of those things would constitute as evidence. Um, if you've got the health journal at the justice journals, which is really good, you can get them to complete some of the pages in it for you, and you can take that with you. You can submit that to PIP, and you can also use it in a tribunal as well if you need to. Um, Lola de Wednesday, I love your name. Thank you so much for all your help in videos. Oh, that's all right, my lovely. Wait till I drop my version 2 of Justice Writer Pro. I can't wait to drop that. I can't wait. Like I said, we're debugging it. Sometimes it's long. Like yesterday it was like 3.5 hours. I'm like, how many times am I going to have to send this prompt? It's like, this should be debugged by now. So yeah, we're at that stage, which is like, it's a little bit tooth pulling because I just want to get out there too. But I do know if it doesn't run smoothly, we're going to have 5,001 people complaining about it. So yeah, so we best not do that. But I'm pleased the videos help you, and I have a lot more this weekend. It's just been my son's birthday, actually. You know what kids are like. I say kids are like young men. You know what it's like. The kind of the birthday is almost like a week, isn't it? They take a week off work or 3 days off work, and then there's a meal and there's this and there's that. So, but it's nice, isn't it? It's lovely. I love it. So I just think, wow, they're gonna not be at home forever. They're gonna grow up probably soon and leave. So yeah, I do cherish that time. So it's normally I record for YouTube on a Monday and Tuesday, and then to be honest with you guys, with the videos going and all the followers, I was just going, I've gone viral on YouTube. Not really viral, but viral for me. And I'm like, oh my goodness me. So yeah, it's like it's a bit it's a bit overpowering, because I think now I'm going to do my next video, it's going to like flop and everyone's going to think it's really bad. But this video here, I just recorded last Sunday, and I just thought, oh, I think this is a really good piece of information, actually, I'm going to share. But I was like a little bit tired and I was in that sort of frame of mood. And I thought, shall I do it? Shall I not do it? I had loads of problems with my camera and all sorts of stuff. And I just thought, oh, yeah, I'm just going to pop it up there, and there we go. Luckily, I did, because everyone has been commenting. Look, so many of you have had so much to say about this. The biggest issue for me in this video is intelligence, information gathering, recipe for disaster, absolute recipe for disaster. You're more than welcome, Gary, and everybody else. Lola, I've got my review papers. Today, and you made me feel a whole lot better. Oh, Lola, do you know what? The best thing, thank you, Filthy Mugger, because you keep it real. You've got to keep it real, guys. I'm from London, and in London we say it's all right, it can rain outside just as long as it doesn't rain inside your head. When you're having that meltdown, when you're like, this is just like everything has gone dark, you know, and it's very easy to feel manipulated and overwhelmed by some of the things that are going on right now. Well, not even right now with DWP, the sort of the tactics, the strategies is, for me, the biggest thing is mental health. I mean, my physical disability, like, they can't deny the X-rays, this and the that, but like, not many people can crawl inside your head, right? And I think the way they treat a lot of mental health disabilities is disgusting. I mean, like I said, when I was working for them, they at one point they literally almost pushed me over the edge, and they knew full well what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. They were just like push, 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 push. I actually think they hoped I would do something untold to myself. I really do. Obviously, guys, I'm fine, and that is, not at all like at all where I'm at now, but the fact is they should know better. They're an organisation that are trained. In our training, we're trained to recognise invisible or not so obvious disabilities and health conditions, points of concern. We're trained to recognise those and trained to support people who might be obviously going through something but don't want to say, so there are lots of different signs. And on top of that, they had all my like actual diagnosis from the NHS. There was no reason at all for them to behave the way they did. And I just think it's disgusting because, and this is also a part of civil service training, right? We have to always imagine what the effect or the impact would be from someone from the public on the weakest or the most vulnerable member of staff. So I just think, well, let's just flip that round then. If they've got all these diagnoses of people and their health conditions that have come from qualified doctors, consultants, psychiatrists, psychotherapists, why is it that they're just disregarding that information as if it's not relevant? Because it is bloody relevant. It is relevant. And people's health is relevant. And their rights are really relevant as well. And when I used to work for DWP and I was sending in my fit notes, particularly when I got diagnosed with PTSD, they were like, you need to come back to work after 5 weeks. So I was getting hounded and hounded. And I said, well, I am waiting for my doctor to write me a fit note, but he has said that clinical practice comes before a fit note. And they said to me, I think you need to remind your doctor that fit notes are the property of Department of Work and Pensions. And I was like, no, I'm not going to speak to my doctor like that. If you want to phone up my doctor and speak to him with that lack of disrespect, off you go. But I've actually got a lot of respect for my doctor. He's trained a long time to do what he does, and he's very supportive. So no, I will not be saying that, and I will not be speaking to my doctor like that. Thank you. But this is from somebody that's got, 4 GCSEs. as well. So shocking. Not that education is not the education, but it's the attitude. How can somebody that has no qualifications or training question someone that spent what? How long does a doctor take? 6 years, 8 years to qualify? Training, studying, disgusting. Um, it's very strange. This country has always been very strange towards illness. You have to be at death's door, if not, you're fine, no matter the barriers. Been like it for decades. It's like we do have an issue, I think, against illness. I remember just coming out of COVID, there was a time when I could not lie down. And if I lied down, it was like someone was standing on my chest, like pressing the air out of my lungs. It was really scary because I was like gasping for air, and I had COVID. Was actually on my sofa, and I was like trying to stay out for about 2 days and then 2 nights, and I was like going over because eventually you fall asleep. I ended up going to A&E, and it's like they did all of these tests on me, and they were going, there's nothing wrong, and I'm going, there must be something wrong. Let me lie down now and show you what happens when I lie down. And they're like, no, 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 you have to do the test standing up. And I'm like, but this only happens when I lie down. It's not happening when I'm sitting up or standing up. It only happens when I lie down. So I think you're right, filthy muggers. It's very concerning, which is why you should always, 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 always look after yourself. Always look after your health. Always put yourself first, and always be very selfish about it, because nobody else will. And at the end of the day, you're no good to anybody, least of all yourself, if you don't look after yourself. That's very important. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I've been live for 42 minutes. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna love you and leave you, because like I said, I've had like a very, very, very long day, and need to sort of sort the hair out, have a shower, and just into bed. You're more than welcome, guys, and I will be going through the comments, picking out the ones, doing videos on the ones where everyone is asking for questions. Some of my evidence I've put behind, I've been given a YouTube membership now. Some of that is the evidence for DWP, and the only reason I do it is because they're always trying to put a gagging order on me. All of my evidence, I'm not going to give them benefit of the doubt, all of my evidence has gone before public court now. So I can put it in the public domain, but I just know how pedantic they can be and how problematic they can be. So yeah, at least if they suddenly come into my membership and they've paid for it, then that's entrapment, isn't it? That could be a whole new thing. But take care of your good selves, my lovelies, and I will speak to you probably at the weekend. But anyway, take care. Goodbye.